Okay. And now we are recording. All right. So again, welcome everybody to the first challenge match information session. And we just hope to, again, address all of your questions, comments, concerns for the program. But first things first, I am going to share my screen here because I do have a little bit of a slideshow to help us curate the presentation this morning. Okay, make this large. All right, and since this happened during the spring grant cycle meetings, Lisa, if my face gets really still and you can't hear my voice, that's probably because my computer froze. So just feel free to take the baton at any point.
Hey, and real quick, we had a request if everybody that's not speaking could mute. And then when we're ready to take questions, everybody can chime in or feel free to add to the chat.
Good call. Thanks, Lisa. Good call. All right, so let's start with the timeline. This timeline probably looks fairly similar to years past, but we'll kind of just go over it point by point just to make sure there's not any questions about anything. So on July 30th, here in a few days, the application is going to open and it will remain open until August 16th. And we will accept applications till the close of business that day. Lisa, correct?
That is correct. And that'll give you a little over 2 weeks and 3 weekends to work on that.
That's where the best work happens. I think it's the weekend. Lisa, you were emailing me all weekend, so you know that is.
I was here Saturday.
Oh, so anywho, yes, so the application deadline will be August 16th at 5 p.m. And then shortly thereafter, we'll kind of pull the committee together to review all of the applications and pull the necessary committees together. And then we will have our participants approved at the board meeting, the September board meeting. I think in years past, it was October, correct, Lisa?
Right, the last few years, we've had requests that we changed it moved it back to September so that they had longer to get their letters out and things.
Okay, good deal. You have to forgive me, this is my first challenge match. So if I seem clueless on various aspects of this, if the shoe fits, right?
You're so green, Alex.
I know. And then I won't have any excuses here.
Doing great.
So we'll notify all of our participants and we'll put out the press release shortly after the September board meeting. And then we'll meet with all of our participants as well. But November 1st through the 9th is that challenge match period. So last year it was the 2nd through the 10th. This year it's the 1st through the 9th.
Alex, I wanted to point out that meeting with participants is something new that I've added this year. And that's kind of the date range that we'll look at scheduling a meeting. I just wanted to kind of get into the finer details of the entire process right after we notify everybody, just to make sure, especially if we have any new organizations participating, and make sure, that we cover everything ahead of time before everybody starts sending out their appeal letters and kind of walk through the entire process, since we have changed some things this year.
Excellent, thank you. So November 23rd then, tracking sheet and certification cover letter are due. December 6th, deadline to mail all thank you letters. We're going to talk about those here in just a moment. And so then we will report to the board on December 16th. In the waiting room, let me admit her. And then on December 21st, all distributions will be made. So I guess that's fairly straightforward, but does anyone have any questions about how the timeline is oriented this year? All right, that doesn't sound like there are any questions. I'll take that as a positive. All right, so let's talk about then some of the new things that might spur some questions. So for 2021, based on data that we've kind of compiled over the last 3 or so years, we're actually going to be eliminating the $2,500 tier. So we will have 2 tiers, the $5,000 and the $10,000 tiers. So that is new for this year. And that was the kind of decided on because over the last few years, actually, that tier has been, the amount of organizations who are utilizing that tier has decreased. And we're just kind of finding that for the vast majority of organizations, they're kind of reaching the $5,000 tier. Actually, the vast majority are. So if we can, hopefully push those organizations to up a tier, they're going to actually receive more in match funds. So that is something that is new for this year. And we'll take questions here. I'm going to cover these next 3. But one of the questions that we are asking is for a fundraising plan. Doesn't have to be anything super comprehensive, but just a 1 to 2 page outline of what is your organization or the organization you're representing's fundraising plan. And I kind of uploaded a handy, I thought it was handy, guide onto the website. So we'll talk about that. But really, it's just like the key initiatives within your fundraising plan, your goals, any dates or special events, whatever it might be. So like I said, it doesn't have to be a novel, but just I think it'll be a really good accompanying piece for as you're kind of looking at your organization and your fundraising goals and your fundraising plans and kind of how it pertains to the challenge match. And we'd be happy to furnish examples or samples if needs be. There's really no one size fits all for it. Oh, here's Ray. Sorry, let Ray in. So that is a new part of the application. The application questions is the annual fundraising plan. So something that some of you might view as a positive as well. I have a sense that we are not requiring copies of your thank you letters. I see at least a few nods, head nods. So I'm happy to I'm happy to hear this is to some of your liking. So we will not require copies of the thank you letters. And for this year, payments for goods and services do not qualify. So Lisa, am I forgetting anything or anything that you'd like to expound upon?
I think when you said you do have slides for the parameters.
Yes.
Okay, I think we will cover some more things when we get to that.
Awesome. So that was really the only question that that was kind of put in through the reservation or the invite form was like, what's new for this year? So I guess here you have it. So are there any questions about any of these few points here? And don't worry if not, there'll be plenty of time for questions at the end. All right. So let's move on to
Alex.
Yeah, hey Guy, what's going on?
Well, I was fighting to get the mute. Sorry. On the 2,500 elimination and the 5 and 10 staying, will the 5 and 10 levels continue to be a matching after you raise your core values or core amount?
Yes, the thresholds will remain.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
If we don't need that much, can we still apply for less than 5,000, or are you just going to be at 5,000 and 10,000?
The only 2 options will be to apply for the 5 and 10. I think Alex had done some research on our past. I know 2020 was a little different for everyone, but going back all the way to 2018, and everybody has just been very successful. Even at the $5,000 level, we just feel like there's going to be continued success. Everybody has worked really hard to their donor list, tracking those, knowing how many new donors you have and keeping your outreach throughout the year. Everybody's just doing such a great job, and we just wanted to make it a little bit more of a challenge this year.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. I appreciate your insight. I kind of did some calculating and some back of the, saying it's back of the envelope math is probably, it makes it seem a little bit cursory, but we did look at the last 3 years, and traditionally, on average, about 87% of the organizations who opt for the $2,500 tier are actually exceeding 5,000. And I have it written down here, I'm sorry. About 40% of the organizations who opt for the $2,500 tier are exceeding $10,000 in community contributions. So yeah, like Lisa had mentioned, we really wanted to reemphasize the challenge in the challenge match and maximize our giving as well, or our granting as well. All right, we'll keep marching. Figured it'd be just a little bit easier if I did it this way. So here are the parameters as we wait for them to load.
So that's a link that's found on our website, right?
Yes, and I'm so sorry. And you should actually theoretically be able to click that link if you so choose, but it is found on the website. And yeah, it's on the, so if you go to our website and then the grants, we have a special challenge match page. I know most of you are probably familiar with it, but all the documents have been updated, and we'll update even more here in the coming days. So let's talk about the parameters. Participation, I guess that's fairly straightforward.
Alex, we can't see them.
You can't?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me do something here. Oh, yep, I apologize. Forgot to switch here. How about now?
There you go.
Yeah, all right. You zoom so much and you still really, it's still kind of a mystery from time to time. All right, so the participation is fairly straightforward. We talked about the match goals. So the $5,000 and the $10,000 match tiers, eliminating the $2,500 match tier. We talked about the match period. Anything you'd like to add about qualifying gifts? Lisa, is this fairly straightforward from last year, I assume?
It's still $1,000 per donor per organization received during the match period. We just wanted to add, several of you have received donor advised fund distributions, like from the foundation itself. Those will continue to qualify. We did add something additional new this year, is that grant funds received during the match period will not qualify. I know a lot of organizations like Reed and some others have started waiting to send their grants during the match period. And we just felt like it was time to take that off to make it more of a challenge. So those will not qualify. And again, payments for goods and services will not qualify. So if you've sent out invoices and they make those payments during the match, you would not include those on your tracking sheet.
Scroll down just a little bit, and then here's kind of the reporting. We kind of discussed it during the timeline, but the tracking sheet and cover letter are due by November 23rd, close of business. And then the thank you letters must be mailed by December 6th, but again, won't need copies of them, so that's good. And then February 1st, 2022 is the grant use report.
And I would like to talk about the thank you letters.
Please.
Ray had asked about not requiring copies anymore, and we talked about that, Alex and Rebecca and I know it's been a hassle for a lot of people to keep, to scan in and to send me copies of those. As far as making sure they're sending out the right letter, I think when we have that meeting with the organizations selected to participate, I want to get more into the wording for each of those letters and kind of review what's needed for each situation. And then I'm going to ask that you email me stating when you sent those letters out, the date of the mailing. So hopefully we'll have everything covered that way. If we back up a little to the tracking sheet, something else we've added, which we actually had hoped to do last year, and Beth pointed out afterwards that I forgot to remind everybody to do this. So it'll be new this year, is a cover letter signed by both your executive director and board chair that certifies that the information in the tracking sheet is complete and accurate. And you'll include that with your tracking sheet due by November 23rd at 5 o'clock. So Ray, I hope that answers your question about the thank you letters. And Patty asks if pledges for a program received during the match can be counted, they receive no goods and services. What did we leave on the frequently asked questions about that? Do you recall, Alex?
Let me take a quick gander.
I don't actually see pledge on there. Can we get back to you, Patty?
Yes, please. I'm sorry. I will. We will have an answer. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll look into that and confirm.
All right. So I think while Lisa is, so this next portion, we are going to back out. I'm going to stop my share actually. Well, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me finish the criteria for selection before we get too far ahead of ourselves. So organizations will be selected to participate based on a greater emphasis on previous fundraising performance, especially moving forward to help select participants. So when we talk about the annual fundraising plan, that's a really good venue to share with us, you know, your organizations, how you track your donors, how you steward your donors, your goals, any mechanisms that you have in place to enhance your fundraising. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to include the fundraising plan for this year. And then, of course, as we know, this differs from the spring grant cycle because this is for operating support. It's not for specific projects. So only requests for ongoing operating support will be accepted, no project funding. And then prior year grant use reports may be reviewed as part of the application process.
Alex, I found an answer, I guess.
Oh, good.
We don't actually cover it in our frequently asked questions. I know in the past we have accepted pledge payments. And since we did not cover that this year, we will continue to accept those. Luann asked, what if we do not have an executive director, only a chairman of the board? I would say, Luann, whoever, you know, the head person in your office is maybe, and then the chairman of your board.
Right.
And Rachel asks, does that also include events like golf outings or galas that are held earlier in the year but paid for during the match? Well, again, since we did not cover that in our questions, frequently asked questions, you will still be able to accept those because those are one-on-one with donors. that are making payments, I suppose, as long as they were not getting any tangible benefits.
Thank you for the questions, everybody. We'll make sure that if there's anything pertinent that we need to add to the frequently asked questions, sounds like there is, we certainly will. All right. So any lingering questions then about the parameters for the 2021 challenge match? Can't see anything coming through the chat. We can always revisit it, no worries. Just in the best interest of time, I'm going to stop my share. And Lisa, you should be able to share your screen then with the application.
Okay.
If I did the co-host thing right, which I think I did.
Yes. Can you see the login?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes, it's
Yes.
on the screen.
Yes, I'm sorry. I did my thumbs up, which probably wasn't helpful.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have you up. There we go. I was looking to see who all was on there. Okay, so the application is not currently available. It will be available by Friday. But I wanted to go ahead and show everyone the new online application platform. And you'll note the address is goapply.azurewebsites.net/Wayne. And we will have that on our website as well. So this is a new system that we've switched over to through GoApply. Well, actually through Akoya, but their online application system is called GoApply. And they've set it up with an interface with our logo and everything. So that'll be somewhat familiar for you. So everyone will be starting fresh and new in this system. You won't be using your previous login information. You will need to get set up. So you're going to go to the new here and click on sign up. And you're going to select organization. Organization is for those applying for grants. Yourself would be if you were applying for a scholarship. Click on organization. Submit. Well, isn't that interesting? I bet it's because I'm logged in.
Yeah, Lisa, this is Jim. We're just getting a silver bar down the middle of the screen.
Okay, thanks, Jim. I didn't know. Thank you, Karen. I didn't know if it was just my computer, which acts weird sometimes. But yeah, Lisa, I'm not sure what's going on. We are just getting like the silver
says
bar,
it's
yeah, down
paused.
the middle of the screen. Very strange.
Can you see it now?
Okay, so now we're back to, yes, now we're back to the login, of course.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's strange. I don't know what happened.
It said it was paused. I'm not sure why. Okay, let's try this again. I'm not sure.
Oh, now we can totally, yeah.
There we go. Okay,
Perfect.
so let's go through that again. Again, it was goapply.azurewebsites.net/Wayne. Click on the new here, sign up. You're applying on behalf of an organization. Submit. And then you're going to enter your tax ID number for your organization. If you don't know that, you can continue with the tax ID, but please definitely try to find that out and enter it here. The format will be with the dash this time. I know in our old system, the application, I asked you not to do a dash, but this time you will use a dash. And then once you do that, you're just going to put in your basic, name of your organization, email address, phone, and your name, and then you will create a login. And once you do that, I will get an email to approve you, and then you will be ready to start your application on Friday. And if everybody could go ahead and do that in advance, because I'm sure I'll have several to get through, that would be much appreciated. And this will just be a one-time thing that you'll have to do for all applications going forward. And then you'll just save your login information. But please feel free, if you have any questions or any trouble completing this process, reach out to me. Feel free to just give me a call and we'll walk through it together. And I'm going to hand it back over to you, Alex. You're muted.
Me unmute, yes, got it. All right, let me take the screen back then. All right, Lisa, if you could stop your, or wait here.
There.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Sorry.
All right, let's jump back into our trusty PowerPoint here. Okay, so moving on from the parameters, we're going to talk now about discuss the scoring criteria and application questions. So this will look very similar to years past, with the exception of I think the couple things that we have added that we've kind of discussed already this year. So I don't know, short of just reading it, is there any questions about, anything on this page? So this is just like the first half of the page, but your organization mission, who do you serve, any key priorities and strategic goals, any key metrics for your annual campaign, which again will kind of dovetail back to your fundraising plan. Same with how do you plan to measure success? Is there any questions about any of these criteria or questions?
Alex,
Yes.
when you're doing the application, is it possible to save your answer, or should we do it on a Word document and paste and cut?
The new system.
I'm not sure what the new. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, the new system still has a save feature, but it does auto save. And it actually times out after 60 minutes, where the old system was 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would still recommend creating it in Word, just so that you can get it exactly how you want it and copy and paste. I would still recommend that as a backup.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Guy. Thank you, Lisa.
I do have a question, if I may. This is John Foss from RCT.
Hi, John.
Hi there. So one of the things that we're trying to do this year is encourage donors to make larger contributions to the organization through a monthly or quarterly payment plan. Do pledges count?
Yes, the pledge payments received during the match period will count up to $1,000 per donor.
But just the payments?
Correct.
Okay.
And I think we did actually, Alex, starting back at the beginning,
Yes.
we did change a little bit on the related questions, where we're asking just for the mission, who do you serve, sharing your key priorities and strategic goals. I think previously that was a little bit different. Trying to make things a little more concise and for everyone to understand what we're looking for. So again, that we don't get duplicate answers for each of the different questions.
Right.
And then that last section, the organization's plan to achieve its match goal, is where the application will have a place to upload your fundraising plan. Yes, Tina, on the website, I believe Alex has uploaded some kind of what is a fundraising plan. And then we're also going to be adding this week some samples as well.
Yes. So if you jump over to the website now, among the challenge match information, I mean, it has everything we're discussing here. Some of it still might be subject to small tweaks, but it kind of has a fundraising plan, frequently asked questions or guide, so to speak. And we were able to track down some pretty, like I said, it doesn't have to be like a novel, just some fairly succinct fundraising plans that I'll make sure the samples find their way on our website as well. But you can kind of pull that document just to kind of get some ideas to start thinking. Because like I said, it's something that fundraising plans, there's not like a one size fits all. If you go on the internet, you'll find tons of samples, but like, I guess it's more about asking yourselves as an organization, the questions going in and then finding something that works best for you.
And I'll be honest, when Rebecca suggested adding this to the application, I said, I honestly don't know what a fundraising plan looks like. I've never requested that from our nonprofit organizations. And it's my understanding that a lot of the questions we were asking previously kind of got you there. But it was more geared specifically to the challenge match, where what we're asking for now is for an annual plan to show us what you're doing throughout the entire year, not just for challenge match.
So another question, sorry about that.
Good.
So to that previous comment, Lisa, do you want, so for instance, our organization, we have individual giving, which will serve as an ongoing annual fund campaign, but we also have specific projects that require sponsorships and then grants that we apply for in a year. Do you want to see the entire contributed revenue plan for the organization or just the annual fund where the challenge match fits?
You mean for the fundraising plan? Or
yeah.
Okay. Alex, do you know, did Rebecca talk about that? Because I'm assuming we want to know everything, not just.
Yes. Like, what is your total year-long fundraising goal? And like I said, all those mechanisms in place to help you get there. I don't know if it'd be helpful to share that. Yeah, but.
And again, it doesn't, if you have something that's very detailed, if you want to downsize it for the grant committee to look at, to more summarize, I guess, because they're going to have a lot to read through and this will be new for them. They're not aware that we've added this yet. I see Guy laughing.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be fairly concise. It can be very straightforward. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exhaustive or comprehensive. It's just really an extra added layer to allow, the grant committee to have a better sense of, what are your efforts outside of this, short window around the challenge match. So, I think just to add a little bit of context to the application.
I agree.
Okay.
Alex, if we could ask a question on the page.
Of course.
Has your organization participated in the challenge match previously? If the answer is no, will it ask for the 990 most current and the 501c3 application to the organization?
That's what we forgot to add, Alex.
Guy, you got it. No. But, so
I'm in that.
Question,
I got
Guy.
a group I'm working with that's going to hit that category, so I knew this
Okay.
one was going to come.
Well, we don't specifically want the 990, but that was something that Rebecca wanted us to add was the financials. And I need to find her email. She says that we want to ask them for their budget / actuals and balance sheet for their calendar year or fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. Because we were kind of, not everybody's on a January through December. How do we get, the most recent without cutting somebody off? So I know she talked with Amy, our finance officer, and that's kind of what they came up with. And we will definitely add that to all the documentation as well. And speaking of, Alex, have you had a chance to put information out yet?
I'm sorry, I was writing. What
Have you
information out?
On
sorry.
the financial series?
That's actually going out this week. So we will be doing kind of a accounting 101 that we'll be facilitating here with our accounting and finance guru, Amy. So some of you will probably, well, all of you will be hearing about it. So that'll be just be on the lookout for that. So that's actually coming here very soon.
Yeah, and please know that's not a requirement,
No.
for the challenge match. It's just to help people get, the details that we're looking for in the financials and kind of be able to compare apples to apples as far as the formatting of these financials. So some people may not know what a document showing budget and actual expenses and income and a balance sheet are, or may not have those available yet for the organization. And we just want to make sure, that everybody's kind of on the same level with that. We just want to help everybody out.
Lisa,
Yes.
if you're looking for examples, Google the word budget variance and you'll get examples of that.
Okay. I think Amy already has some stuff pulled for that
All right,
session.
thank you.
And of course, I still have, in the spring grant cycle, we do request that type of documentation, and there's sample documents on our website for those.
I
Ready
know.
for questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know we covered a lot, and a lot of it's probably merely a review for many of you, but were there any questions about, I guess, anything that has been discussed or anything that I guess maybe even wasn't discussed? I'll get off this cheeky slide here and we'll just go back to our wall of faces. There we go.
I put a question in the chat about the putting the tax ID number in. Does that let anyone from the organization be admitted or anyone from our board to be admitted to see and to enter information into the application?
Oh, I'm sorry. I answered that and it just went to one person for some reason. Yes, you can have different people register under the same tax ID. And it's my understanding that way they could work on the application as well.
Okay, thanks.
But if we run into any trouble, we will work through it and figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out this new system as well and working on the application itself this week to get it ready for you guys. Any other questions?
Lisa, do you have the new tracking sheet available for us to see? I think you said there were new columns being added to that or new information being requested on that.
Oh, it'll be the same tracking sheet, but I will send that out to the participants that are selected. Same format for that. What is new is a cover letter to accompany that. that'll be just verifying that the information is correct and accurate, signed by the executive director and the board chair.
Got it. So it's just the cover sheet that's new. Nothing about the tracking sheet has changed.
Right, right. And I would prefer to have those documents emailed to me.
What was the main reason for changing to the new system? We had just gotten used to the old one.
That's what I said. No. We previously used a system called Community Pearl, which was through a company called Bromo Camp. And we were starting to have some bugginess in the system. It was really getting slow. And they proposed their new system called Aquia, which is cloud-based. And we researched it along with several others and found that it seemed to offer everything that we needed, including the online application, and it will have a online donation platform, and it will allow fund holders to access their information. So there's a lot all within the same, where previously, we were using Community Force and I had to import that information in, where this will kind of flow together. So I think it's going to be a good thing, but they are fairly new in some of their things, including their online application. So there's just been a lot of questions and waiting on answers at this point. And I think it's going to be possibly more user-friendly for everybody, I hope. The one thing that I've noticed that's missing right now is the logic kind of behind the scenes. So I can't say, if you answer yes or no, then open up these additional questions. So you may just see all of these questions instead and have to answer them. But hopefully it'll still be a fairly short application for you. Does that help? Okay.
Yes.
Will this system be used for the spring grants and so forth as well?
It will, yes. We'll use that for spring grants, challenge match, any of Forward Wayne County's applications that they've been doing for like Main Street and their different grants, as well as our scholarships to the local high schools and the Lilly, which will be opening August 1st. And I'm working on that as well.
So the final reports for this spring grant, will they come on this new system or on the old system?
That is a great question. That is something that Rebecca and I are going to figure out. I know several of you already have your spring grants projects possibly finished up, and we have completely disconnected from the community force, so you won't be able to access that system to do a report. And I'm thinking we'll just put something together, probably just a Word document with some questions, and email that out for everybody to complete. But again, your deadline for that is not till February 1st, 2022.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Can you repeat that, Lisa? It's probably in the grant contract. What's the deadline for the reporting for spring cycle?
Spring cycle grant use report is not due until February 1st, 2022.
Thank you.
And I know everybody's current on all of their grant use reports except for the 2021. I made sure of that before we finished out on that old system. And please let me know if you need your previous grant applications. I did save everyone's from that system. If you don't have that saved electronically, just shoot me an email and I'm happy to send it to you. It's so
That's
quiet.
Lisa, this is Jim McCormick. That's a huge help to save our old stuff. Thank you so much for thinking ahead to do that.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, I
great
mean,
help.
they're not saved by organization, they're saved by year. So I would need to know specifically what years
Sure.
you wanted, but I'm happy to do that.
Oh, but that's a big help. Thank you so much for doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think we started that like in 2015 through that system. So we had 6 years of grant applications between 2 cycles. So there was a lot of information. Well, if you guys think of any questions in the meantime or have any concerns, if you want a phone call or you want to meet in person, we're happy to do that. Rebecca and Alex and I are available. And again, we'll be emailing everyone with additional information and updating our website as well. Sorry, Alex.
Absolutely. I was gonna say everything that's been shown today is on the website. So feel free to jump over there. But this video will be uploaded as well, so and onto the website. So please, I know this will prove to be some riveting watching here later. But if there, I mean,
No.
we may not win any Academy Awards for this one, but that being said, if you
It'll
want
be
to come,
better Wednesday, right?
that's
You guys are always, our first ones are always interesting.
right. That's right. So, but please feel free to review this video at your leisure if you so choose. But as Lisa mentioned, you can feel free to email or call or come into the foundation building. We're available and ready to answer any questions you might have. Come in alongside. Hey, thanks, Dana. Appreciate that. Dundee. I'm not sure. Best Zoom presentation.
I missed it. What did she do?
She said that we will be awarded a Dundee for best Zoom presentation.
Oh,
If you watch The Office, you know what a Dundee.
Yeah.
oh, I see you're on the chat now. Okay.
Is. And you have to say it Dundee.
I wasn't even gonna try. I could. Would have been awesome to see The Office, how they would have dealt with 2020. That would have been awesome to see. Well, if we'll let everyone kind of head to their lunch hour if you take such a thing. But if you'd like to hang out, please feel free to hang out and speak with us. But thank you all very much for your time, and hopefully this was informative. We look forward to working with everybody. Best of luck, and don't hesitate to reach out, okay? All right, thank you.
Have a blessed day, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
I see that the FAQ still mentions copies of